quick update for you today on the Maisontaal project. The Maisontaal, or just La Maisontaal project. The Maisontaal project. So, lots of you got in touch with some leads on who the Duke might be, where this terrain might have been, who'd seen it and where. And there was one lead, so thank you very much. And it was nice speaking to you at Colours, by the way, as well. That was great to actually put a face to the name, that said that it had been seen in Bristol. Oh, well, the only club that I can remember being in Bristol from around that time was the Lincoln Barn War Game Society, and I know people in the Lincoln Barn War Game Society, so I looked for them. And then thank you also to the person who pointed out that the credits in the inside contents page of Warhammer 3rd edition list Wayne the Duke Millard. Now, mine don't. So there must be two versions of the credits. So I looked in my other copy of Warhammer Fantasy Battle 3rd edition and it did have it. So there must be two print editions have slightly different contents pages, which is weird. But anyway, so Wayne the Duke Millard seemed to be who I was looking for. And I found a Pinterest page, and I found that he'd commented on Nico Realm of Chaos blog, where Nico had been doing the Lichmaster scenario and built a La Maisontaal, and Wayne had commented saying, "I've still got it, do you want it?" And so I tried getting in touch with him through both those methods, to no avail, and then, you may have seen, he commented on my video. So Wayne actually got in touch with me, and has recently moved back to Winterbourne, which is very close to where I work. Not so far away from where I live, and he still has La Maisontaal. So he sent me these pictures of his copy of La Maisontaal, which is very cool. Now, obviously, mine is slightly different, and that's fine. I'm totally happy with mine being different. It's based on, and it's based on those pictures specifically, rather than an overall view of his, and he said that his has been added to over the years, so I don't mind that mine is a bit different, but I have taken a few things from his that I've decided to add. First thing is I've put a load more scatter material over here. Now, I was going to anyway, but I have put, because after I've done all the groundwork, then I need to put more rubble over the top of the groundwork, so that's what I've done. I've put more rubble over the top. I just need to go back in with a grey and just sort of dry brush this and uniform this a bit more, but I have put a load more rubble on here. I've also added a bell. This is a Christmas bell that I've chopped up and started painting, and that's going to be sat down here because Wayne mentioned that on his model, this collapsed tower in the corner here, this is actually a collapsed bell tower, and he's got the bell sunk in the rubble at the front of it here. I'm going to put it round to one side so that the door is still accessible, but I thought that was a cool idea and I wanted to steal that one, or pay homage to that one, and I have added now the greenery on here. I still need to do a little bit of work to grubby this up, tie this all in, but I've done the greenery, and I've added some bushes here around the sides where they are on, or approximately where they are on Wayne's model as well, to try and tie that all in together. So that is something that I have been working on, and I'm very much hoping that he will grant me an interview at some point to talk about the board as a whole, because it would be very cool to get the background, the history to how that board ended up appearing in Warhammer 3rd edition. So stay tuned on that. In the meantime, I have been adding the grass. I'm looking down here and you probably can't see. Maybe if I... not sure if you can see. Anyway, in this corner, over here, just here, yeah, this stack here, is my the rest of the boards. So there's 8 2-foot square boards down there, and they are now covered with flock, and I did a little video of me doing that, and then I got 4 of them out on this table, which is about as many as I could fit. This is a 6x4 table that I'm working at here, that's an 8x4 table, and of course I've still got stuff on this table I had to shunt to one side, so I had about 4 foot square, but that was enough to let me lay out the little village. What I've done with the flock is that I put down a diluted PVA, and then I sprinkled the sponge scatter in the areas that I thought that it would sit, and then I spritzed it with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I dripped more diluted PVA over the top, so the whole thing is set nice and crusty. Now, if you're going to use the isopropyl alcohol, wear a mask, ventilate your room, and do not spray your isopropyl alcohol in the vicinity of a mug of tea that you intend to then drink. I'm just going to leave that there. And take it from me, don't do that. It's not fun. Don't do that. Don't go in any way ingesting isopropyl alcohol. Is not a good idea. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. So yeah, take it seriously. I did the first few boards I did with come on brain, airbrush flow improver, but that was it didn't spray very well, and I was dribbling in it wasn't spreading very well, and it was a lot more expensive than the isopropyl alcohol to buy. So I think the isopropyl alcohol, and I've gone into this a bit more in previous terrain videos, as you'll know. When I was doing my Giant's Causeway board, I had a bit of a discussion as to the pros and cons of isopropyl alcohol versus the flow improver, and came down very much on the side of the isopropyl alcohol. Nasty stuff though it is. Treat it seriously, treat it with care. So that's all good to go. The Riverside boards, and I've tried to go as close as I can with the images that are in the book, and I'm using sponge flock here. I think it was probably sawdust scatter, or possibly just sand painted and dry brushed in Wayne's original. Wayne will probably comment and let me know, but I've gone with sponge scatter for reasons that I've discussed in previous terrain videos. I really like sponge scatter for absorbing the glue and sticking solidly. And I like the colours that I've got and the way that you can mix the colours together. So that's why I've gone with that. Plus I've got buckets and buckets of it, and I wanted to use some. So that's what I've done. I've tried to match the colours and the quantities of flock more so than the colours necessarily. The patches and the quantities to the pictures as closely as I could, which is why the boards that the river runs through are pretty much solidly grassed. That's how they look in the pictures. The boards that the rest of the town are on and that the Maisontaal are on are quite patchy and sparse. It makes sense that there would be more grass growing around the banks of the river, so that's why I've done it like that. I guess that's why Wayne has done it like that. That's also why there's a bit of a disjoint between the boards. You can see the edge of one board because it's much less grassy than the one next to it, but you can in the pictures anyway. So I'm not worried about that. If I was doing this board not to replicate that one, I'd be a bit more worried about trying to blend the edges in so that there isn't this hard line, but that line is there visibly in the original. It's disguised a bit by the troops that are on it and by the hedges that are around it, but it's there, so I'm putting it in and I'm not worrying too much about that. So I'm quite happy with how that's come out. And I'm going to be finishing off the last bits of that board because the deadline is creeping ever closer, and I've still got some trolls to paint just down here. So there will be more when I put that on the table and play the big game in the beginning of November. So stay tuned and watch out for that. And in the meantime, we will get on with October's Decades of Dwarf next week. So hope to see you then. Do like, do subscribe, do leave a comment for what you'd like to see. Talk about your own experiences. It's always great to hear from people, especially if we then meet in person. That's really nice. And yeah, Wayne, if you're watching, it'd be really nice to catch up with you and do a proper interview at some point in the future if you're up for that. Good stuff. See you next week. Take care.